How God-realized sages read other people's mind. Hello everyone, I am Pulkit Mathur, founder of The Spiritual Bee, and in this video we shall go through three fascinating conversations which took place between Mother Mirra, the God-realized sage and avatar, who was the spiritual collaborator of Sri Aurobindo, and her disciple Champaklal Maharaj. These insightful conversations, which are recorded in the book Champaklal Speaks, offer us a wonderful glimpse into the extraordinary yogic capabilities that God-realized sages possess to read the minds of others. These capabilities are so powerful that such sages can even understand thoughts which are formulated in a language that they themselves do not even speak. Now, this mind-reading power of God-realized sages would not be of much interest to us were it not for the fact that even when such a sage has left his or her physical body, this power remains steady and undiminished. This is because great God-realized sages and avatars, after giving up their body, choose to maintain a presence in the subtle and causal realms in order to guide sincere aspirants from there. Therefore, whatever prayers we formulate for such sages, regardless of the language in which they are formulated, if these prayers are offered with a concentrated mind and a sincere heart, they certainly do reach them. Those of us who are disciples of the God-realized gurus listed here, or of other great saints and incarnations, we can all derive much comfort, reassurance and solace from the fact that whatever prayers we offer them in our hearts, these prayers do reach them and are also answered accordingly. So with this little introduction, let us dive into three fascinating conversations which took place between Mother Mirra and Champaklal Maharaj, which offer us a reassuring glimpse into the mind-reading and all-knowing capabilities of God-realized sages and avatars. In the first conversation, which took place in the year 1926, Champaklal Maharaj documents how Mother Mirra, who was unfamiliar with the Gujarati language for she was of a French upbringing, could nevertheless fully understand a conversation that he once carried on with another ashram inmate in Gujarati. Describing this incident, Champaklalji explains, the kuja or the earthen pot used for storing drinking water for mother had been kept on the terrace for drying in the sun. While talking to Champaben, I asked her in Gujarati, have you cleaned this kuja? Before Champaben could reply, the mother who was present said yes and smiled. Then she added, I have replied without knowing, but I would like to know your question. You see, I didn't know what you said in Gujarati, but I understood it. I understand all the languages. All the languages? I asked. Mother replied, yes, but the person who wants to say something must be clear in his mind. Absolutely clear. I don't know Tamil, but sometimes when people are clear in their mind, I understand everything. Then did you understand everything that Champaben and I were saying? Does your knowing depend upon external circumstances? Mother replied, of course I cannot understand immediately everything on every subject. But there is another method of knowing. I concentrate and enter into your mind and I know. But I do not always take the trouble to do this. As a note, what the mother is saying here is that when people formulate thoughts, feelings and emotions clearly and precisely in their minds, then regardless of the external language they use to express these thoughts, a yogi can telepathically pick them up and understand them easily. The only condition being that the thought, feeling or emotion must be formulated clearly and not in a state of confused vagueness or haphazardness. However, when sadhaks do not formulate their thoughts clearly, or for the purpose of fulfilling some other higher spiritual objective, God-realized sages then use another method, which is that they enter into the mind of the sadhak and thereby know its full contents. Now, the Vedantic explanation for how God-realized sages enter into the mind of a person is that on the road to Samadhi, there comes a point when the sage transcends the limitations of his or her own mind and attains unity with the universal cosmic mind. Within this universal cosmic mind are contained all our individual minds like fruits in a bowl. Since a God-realized yogi has the ability to transcend his or her own mind and reach the cosmic mind, therefore the contents of each individual mind, which is contained in the cosmic mind, can easily be retrieved by them, and thus they are accurately able to read the thoughts, feelings and emotions of not just people but also of animals. As Swami Brahmananda, the God-realized sage and direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, has explained, through spiritual practice, this little mind of ours has to be merged in the cosmic mind. Then with the help of that mind, we will be able to know the thoughts of every human being and animal. Returning back to our conversation, Champaklal Maharaj now proceeded to ask Mother if she could understand the unexpressed thoughts and emotions in his own mind, since he was unable to articulate them in the French language, which was the mother's native tongue. Suppose something is very clear in my mind, but I cannot say it, not knowing the language well enough. I then sit quietly near you. Can you know what I want to say? Yes, replied Mother. What is the meaning of clear? Asked Champaklal Maharaj. Mother replied, people think that their ideas are clear, their feelings are clear, but generally they are not. Very few people have that kind of clear thought in their minds. Take for instance Madame Potel. Here Mother is referring to another disciple of hers. When she wants to send something to me, a letter or bread or anything, I come to know of it as soon as she thinks of it, even before I receive what she has sent. That lady has this capacity. Though spiritually she has not advanced very far, she has only recently started her sadhana, but she has worked very hard along this line. Do you know her thoughts by your power or because she directs it towards you? Mother answered, many are advanced in their sadhana but do not have this capacity. They may have big ideas and all that, but not this power. I had a friend who was a beginner in sadhana, yet every time he wrote a letter, I used to know its contents before I received it. Only a few have this capacity by birth. So when I want to know exactly about the sadhaks, I enter into their consciousness and I know what I want to know. So this was the first incident. In the second, Mother Mirra reads and fulfills an unspoken desire in Champaklal Maharaj's heart. For it was a tradition for Champaklal Maharaj to ask Mother and Sri Aurobindo to write out a small spiritual message for him every year on his birthday. Champaklal Maharaj cherished these personal messages from his gurus very much, and he wanted his brother Bansidhar to also be the recipient of the same grace. However, when Bansidhar's birthday arrived, Maharaj could not express this secret desire of his before Mother. However, Mother Mirra perceived his secret wish and fulfilled it in a wonderful way. As Champaklal Maharaj narrates, it was Bansidhar's birthday today. I thought how nice it would be if Mother wrote something for him, but I did not ask her for it. I used to ask for others on their birthdays at times, but here I did not. It so happened, however, that Bansidhar gave Mother a small notebook and pen when he came for pranam. Mother opened the notebook and said, "Oh, it is quite new. Shall I write something for you?" Bansidhar replied, "All right, Mother, but I brought the notebook to offer to you." Still Mother wrote in it and gave it back to him. This was no surprise to me, for how many times I have seen her fulfilling my wish, though I had not expressed it. Her grace is never ending. So this was the second incident. In the third and last incident that Champaklal Maharaj describes, Mother Mirra does something quite the opposite. Instead of reading the thoughts of her disciples, she decided to test their openness to the workings of her divine influence by sending an inspiring thought to them. Then Mother waited to see which of her disciples was the most receptive to pick up the thought first. As Champaklal Maharaj narrates, Mother used to place a vase of flowers on the table in the veranda of the library house where those who were permitted would meet Sri Aurobindo in the mornings. One day I found that the vase was no longer there and there were no flowers. This continued for some time. Finally, one day I arranged some flowers in a vase and put them on the table. When she saw them, Mother asked me, "When did you get this idea of keeping flowers here?" I replied, "I had been thinking of it for many days, but I felt you may not want it, and what you do not want, I did not want to do." "Why do you ask, Mother?" Mother replied, "Why I am asking is this. The other day when we spoke about clarity of mind, I put this idea of keeping flowers in the atmosphere, that somebody should bring flowers for Sri Aurobindo. I wanted to see who receives it first. Now I see that you have been the first. Very interesting." So these are three notable incidents from Champaklal Maharaj's close discipleship with Mother Mirra, which provide us sadhaks with the comforting reassurance that our prayers are never sent up in a vacuum, but there is a loving divinity who is receiving them and who also responds. We end this video with a wonderful question that was asked by another disciple of Sri Aurobindo and Mother Mirra. This disciple once wrote to Mother saying, "Sweet Mother, can you hear me whenever I call you in my prayers?" And Mother replied, "Dear child, be sure that I hear you each time you call, and my help and force go straight to you." This is the truth, and it is valid for all incarnations of the divine, even though they may have left their physical body. Cherishing this comforting fact in mind, let us meet again in the next video.